Welcome to Debugging Pandemic Pedal number 96. I've been trying to edit this video for about a month and make it a tutorial, but it's not. It's looking at how I debug my Madbean Pedals Snarkdoodle build. It's a clone of the way huge Red Llama. The problem I had in the end was not what I expected, so I'm going to leave in all of the confusion, misunderstanding, and struggle I had while working through the problem. I'll try to include markers so that you can jump to what might interest you, but in the end I think leaving everything in here is more informative than trying to cut it up into just a polished total. So I'll leave you now with my first bit of confusion, which was my signal path. I didn't realize that having both sets of wires on there going through both paths at the same time would interrupt one and the other. So enjoy this for a little bit, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Halfway, so whatever's going on, I can kill myself. Alright. That I believe is going through this. So this is 3 is here, 4 is here. Let's see. Is 2 this? No. 2 is this. Alright, so you can see 3 is this coming through, 2 is this coming through, so we're on this side of it. So you see that I'm not getting anything through this when it's turned on. Well, maybe that's not. Is it 4? No, that's this. No, this is this or that. Wow, I'm not getting any sound through there at all. That's interesting. I wonder if the pedal's actually working. So this is the test. Right. Alright, so it's not. Alright. So as you see, I'm not getting any volume through. So this is the in and out here, and we can start to trace. So you see our in is hooked up, and if I trace over to this end of the in, I should, if I'm on here, get a sound. There you go. So I'm getting sound in. So these are the things that we want to check. And this is how you start doing your tracing, is you start looking at, all right, here's got to the first spot. So one of the things that's nice about Madbean is Madbean has really nice build docs. And one of my favorite things that they include, and I've got the paperwork here, which is why you hear me shuffling, and I'll actually pull it up on screen, is they include, first off, their the schematic, so you can trace through the schematic. So we'll want to check here. We've really checked right at that spot right there to make sure we've got it. So we're going to probably go to the other side of R2. So one of the nice things we have here is we can see where things are and where the traces are. So Madbean is one of the only places I know that give me the actual traces. So we see our in, and it goes to this side of these two resistors. That's R1 and R2. That's where we come in. Then it comes to the other side of R2, goes to R3. R1 goes to ground. So our in is here, and it's going to be flip-flop. So this is actually sitting the other way around. So the things coming in should be here and here. All right, this one goes to ground. This one should be the other side. So there's our signal coming to this. So then we come back down to the capacitor. Got the capacitor, the other side of the capacitor. Still have sound there. That comes up to R3, so R3 should be on this side of the board, and it should be this middle one. And R3 is going to run to gain. our gain in. These are 2 outs. Alright, so I'm going to max out gain just so that I know I'm getting what I'm hoping for. Yes, and these two are hooked up together. You hear how spitty that is. Already it's not sounding great. And that's our full sound. From there, these two are hooked together. It comes down over to C2, and then from C2 it goes in. So C2 is our 6th one up, or it's the top of our first set. So let me move these out of the way. So it's this one. Oh, actually, C2 should be this side. Yep, and you can barely hear it. C2 comes through. Indeed, this, which is, I think, this is resistor. That's one, which is power. This is 2. So that's the end. This is the other side. It's coming back into C2. This is the C4, which I'm hearing nothing from C4. Oh, it goes into C2 and C3. So that's going into C2. C2 and C3. C3 comes through and then comes into here. And mind you, this is full gain. And I got nothing at the volume pot. The volume pot should be the one that's going to output. So you see that on this side there's nothing. There's nothing running down any of these, which is this entire side here. So it's completely disconnected. This is, second one is R6. That's running the ground. And this one is R5, which is coming off of that. R6 on the inside is here, so this should be running to the volume. Comes into here, and then this on the other side of the board goes into the center of the volume, and it's getting nothing. So that's might be where some of our problems lie. So let me pause this. I want to try and get you guys a better view. So as we had said, what we have is, here's our layout. You can see the close-up. There's nothing here, right? This, you can hear very faint, is the one coming off of here, I believe, the 4th one out, right? This is the 5th one, which should be going to R5, which I hear nothing. This is one coming from R2, coming from the other side of R2, and I believe that's power. From what I can tell. All right. So what I'm trying to figure out here is exactly what's going on with this. So I I got nothing, and the only two volumes are this one and this one, and you hear there's nothing at the volume. All right, this is here, this comes over to this thing, which has nothing, so it doesn't matter. If I have nothing coming into the first part of volume, which is the center, which is coming off of this 6, and oh, it's going out, but so it's really coming off of 5. Wow, did that overheat that fast? No, it's probably been 5 minutes. All right. So let me understand the flow. So if we chase the volume backwards, that's the out. The out is coming from the center. The center is going into 6, which is going to ground, which is just our output. It's really the one going into 1, which is on that side, which is going through C5. I have no volume on either side of C5. And the C5 comes from, it's this right here. This would be going out to volume, and I have nothing. Very little on C5 there. Nothing on C5 on the inside. Huh. So let me think. Nothing on C5 on the inside, so nothing on the 4th pin up? Oh, because I have C5 on the outside. Nothing on C5 on the inside. C5 on the inside goes to the 5th one up. 1, 2, just here. Goes to C4. All right. So at that point, what I need to do is I believe I need to check my welds. You see, there's just nothing coming through the end of the pedal, and we've traced where we can get to. So what we can see is we have sound here. Right, C3? Yes. But we have none. So that's C3. And that's C4. So that's C4 here. So we've got sound here. And I guess it also goes to 2. So there's 2 on the inside. But this here, hold on. No, see, this here, and this here are all the same thing. Alright, let me go in and see, and we'll come back. We're going to start recording again, and what I need to see is we're trying to see what, if anything, could be wrong in those spots. So it's 1, 2, 3 are together. Those all go there. It goes up. So I find the best thing to do under these circumstances is typically look at the joints, reflow them, and then test it again to see if we're getting anything. Because who knows what I may have broken. I don't believe anything's touching down there. I believe my chip is in correctly. Alright. So, first things first is we will get out the DMM and we are going to check voltages. Okay, so if we look at our digital multimeter, let's put it here. We want to run power. Hopefully I can get it to reach. There we go. And we want one to go to ground and the other to go elsewhere. And I don't know where my ground clip is. Alright, we're gonna have to use this. We know ground is here. I'm going to stop and start it again. Alright, so we want to right now see what our voltages are at different points. So I believe this is our voltage going into. We've got 0.68. Oof. Down at the bottom, ground. 0, these should all be 0. None of them should be touching anything. Alright, so from what I can see, power goes into this one. So that's 0.68 volts. And then we're using the next 4. So 0, 0, 0.2, 0.1. 0.2, and that's the last one. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the one that's powered. Which is 0.68. Why is it only 0.68? It's coming from R4. We got DC9 in. DC9 comes over to here. Because I'm at 6 volts there, it's too much. See, this will show 0.93. That runs around to there to go to that. On the other side, it goes to here. And here. Huh. 0.68 there. So this is 9 and that's 6.8? Yep, that's where I think our problem is. So let me pause, take a look at the numbers, and I'll come back. All right, so we're recording again. I found the problem. And this is the second pedal I've done that with. I must have been having a bad day. It's all from the same day a while ago. If you look at this, diode right here, you see the stripe is at the top, but if you can see real closely, the stripe should be on the bottom. Therefore, what I'm doing is I'm running all my power to ground, and it's not doing the backup. So what I need to do is I need to desolder that and turn it around and solder it back together. And because the way things are in here, I kind of want to do that in place. So I'm going to do that off camera, turn it around and see if we could get it. But I showed you with the audio probe, we saw we had no signal. We saw the signal was weak. We saw it was getting all the way through everything, but just not enough to push it anywhere. And nothing was getting up to that volume. So we went and we checked our voltages. We saw our voltage here was at 0.6. It should be over 5. So we had 9 volts here and only like 0.68 here, which means something's got to be running all our power to ground because we're not having any. And it turns out that because these two are connected together, this is just putting it back up to there and sending it to ground because I did it incorrectly. So I will be using some of the copper braid. I will be pulling all the solder off of those two. I'll be taking that piece out, turning it around, and putting it back together. But I need room and I need to be able to see it closely, and I don't have the correct camera equipment for me to do that. So I'll be back once I've turned it around and we'll plug it back in and see if everything's good to go. All right. So, as you can see, I have that turned around now. It's facing in the right direction. I have my solder. We're going to do our, not our audio probe, but our probe one more time just to check and make sure we have the right reading on our DMM. So let's hook up our ground. There we go. Let's hook up our power. There we go. Oops. Do not have that ground on there well enough. There we go. Now we're on that ground wire. So go over here to voltage, put it to 60 so I could check. All right, we know our input is at 9 volts. We know we have 9 volts here. We're hoping we have 5.46. There you go. So that's a better reading. 5.46. So we have our 5.5 volts. So now we can bring this over to the other area and we can do the audio probe and see if we're getting our sound, although I have a feeling we can just hook it up, but we'll play it first before we do so. All right. All right, so we're hooking it back up. We're going to check and see if everything's working. We know that it's on. All right, if we're bypassed, do we have our thing playing through? It should be. There you go. But, oh, and it's not going to work here. It'll actually work here. There you go. We have our volume. And it was all because we didn't have the right power going through. So, let me button this up. And we will check and make sure everything works. That one, really hard. That one's hard because as you can see it's sitting up against there and I really can't twist it or else things touch. So, if you look at this pedal, I mean I bent up the these a little bit so that they would fit. And they fit a little angled. I mean nothing's right. Let's hope we can just get this done. Rocket sockets, you can get them at several places. Stompbox Parts, which is Cusack Music, has them. I got mine from Love My Switches. Lawrence over there has always treated me super well. I like throwing business his way. Alright. These I always find I have a bit of a challenge getting them to start up exactly right. I always know when it's in the right spot because it'll go on really easy. And I want those to be as far from the board as possible. I don't want them to short out. And I typically just use a screwdriver to tighten these on. There we go. That's everything. Let's turn these both down. Get our knobs on. Oops. I was worried this one was going to frustrate me. This is the second time I've tried making this video, and not with this pedal. I tried the first time with the BLM from God City Instruments, because I'm getting this. It's not that that one doesn't work, it's that one's getting some strange sounds out of it, and I just think I don't know the circuit well enough. So let's see, I need to do a better job of knowing which is in and out. This is going to go to the end, which is this one. This is going to go to the out. This is my power. Now this is on here, so that's 3, I believe. Nope, that's this. It's 2. Ah, see? And again, we get nothing. And it was just working, which means we have another short happening. Which may be power. Do I not have the right? Oh, you know what? Let's make sure I have this in the right way. Because one thing is, nope. Oh, you know what? I'll quickly show you why. Go. Alright, I hope that gave you guys an understanding of how to use the audio probe to solve a problem with the pedal. I think this one's working pretty well for me now. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you.